One simple idea can build an entire world if you know how to use it. It's called the premise, and it might be the most important tool you will ever learn as a writer. Hi everyone, I'm Andrea from Bibisco, the novel writing software downloaded by over 200,000 writers around the world to bring their stories to life. Today we are going to talk about the premise, what it really is, why it matters so much, and how to shape one that gives your story purpose, focus, and a deep emotional impact. So let's get to the heart of it. What is a premise? In simple terms, the premise is the fundamental idea at the core of your story. It's the answer to that all-important question. What is the story really about? A premise isn't just a summary or a marketing tagline. It's the reason your story exists. It's the why behind every scene you write. You can also think of it like the seed of a tree. From that seed, roots, trunk, branches, and leaves all grow. If the seed is weak, the entire tree risks collapsing, and the same is true for your story. To make it really concrete, let's look at a simple example. Say you are writing about a young man who dreams of becoming a painter. He lives in a small town, goes to Paris, fails over and over, but never gives up, and finally succeeds. What's the premise? Determination and passion lead to success. Simple, one line, yet it defines the entire journey. Or take these famous stories. 1984 by George Orwell. In a dystopian society, a man rebels against an oppressive, all-seeing government. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. An orphan boy discovers he's a wizard and must stop an evil sorcerer from returning to power. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. In a racially divided southern town, a young girl learns about justice as her father defends an innocent black man. Each of these books has a clear, compelling premise that makes the entire story coherent, powerful, and unforgettable. So, why is defining a premise so crucial? Writing a story is like navigating a dense forest. There are characters to build, settings to explore, conflicts to design. It's easy to get lost. Your premise is your compass. It guides every decision you make as a writer, from how characters speak to how scenes unfold. If something doesn't align with the premise, you know it doesn't belong, and it's not just about you. A strong premise also helps your readers. It gives them a sense of direction, a reason to stay engaged, and a promise of what the story is truly about. Without a premise, even beautiful writing can feel empty and disconnected. With a premise, everything gains clarity. So what separates a bad premise from a brilliant one? There are 4 key elements to keep in mind. First, conflict. Conflict is the beating heart of every story. Without it, there's no tension, no stakes, no reason for readers to keep turning the pages. Your premise should hint at some form of struggle, whether it's internal, like self-doubt, guilt, or fear, or external, like a villain, a harsh environment, or an oppressive system. Think about Katniss in the Hunger Games. Her story is driven by the conflict of survival against a deadly, unfair system. The conflict is right there, baked into the premise, and that's what makes it so gripping. Second, specificity. The more specific your premise, the more vivid and memorable it will feel. Instead of saying a person overcomes obstacles, say a young girl volunteers to take her sister's place in a televised death match. See the difference? Specific details hook your audience, making the story tangible rather than abstract. Third, originality. Your premise doesn't have to reinvent literature, but it should offer a fresh take, a twist, a surprising combination of ideas. Maybe it's a familiar theme in a new setting, or a unique character dynamic that feels different. Readers are drawn to what feels familiar and surprising at the same time. That balance is where originality shines. Fourth, relevance. Your story should resonate with something true about human experience. Themes like love, loss, justice, hope, freedom, these are universal, but you can connect them to your audience's specific emotion and concerns. When your premise taps into something people genuinely care about, it becomes unforgettable. Now let's talk about how actually build your premise, because ideas don't magically organize themselves. But before move on, if you are finding this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture, but it means a lot, and it's a great way to say you are doing a good job, Andrea. Keep going. Okay, let's get back to our premise. Here's a simple but powerful process to develop your own. First, identify your story's heartbeat. Ask yourself, what experience, message, or transformation do I want to explore? It could be a theme like redemption, the cost of freedom, or the power of love. Next, brainstorm conflicts. List out all the possible obstacles your characters could face. This can be both internal conflicts, like doubt, shame, addiction, and external conflicts, like enemies, disasters, and society itself. Great stories often have both. Then distill it. Try to compress all of that into one clear sentence. It's harder than it sounds, but that sentence should express the central idea and the core conflict. For example, a young woman sacrifices everything to bring down a corrupt system. That's already enough to build an entire novel around. After that, check for originality. Look around in your genre. What other books have similar premise? How is yours different? Maybe it's a different setting, a different social theme, or a surprising character. Push yourself to find what makes your take unique. Finally, test it. Don't keep your premise locked in your own head. Share it with someone, a trusted friend, a writing group, a mentor. Ask, does this sound interesting? Does it feel clear? Would you read this story? These reactions will tell you if your premise truly resonates or still needs polishing. And remember, your premise isn't set in stone. Stories evolve, but if you start with a strong, confident premise, you will waste far less time later trying to make sense of a plot that wanders or characters that feel out of place. If you are thinking, okay, but how do I keep track of all this? That's where Bibisco comes in. Bibisco helps you pin down your premise, define your characters, plan your plot, and explore your themes in a structured way, so you never lose sight of your story's purpose. You can brainstorm, organize, and refine your ideas in one place, making the entire process smoother and more enjoyable. So, one simple idea, your premise really can build an entire world. If you craft it with care, it will guide you through every twist and turn of your storytelling journey. Thanks for spending these minutes with me. See you in the next video, and as always, happy writing. Bye bye!